New information has come out about what is called the Havana Syndrome, something that appeared in 2017 when the United States claimed that some kind of energy weapon was being used against U.S. diplomatic staff inside of Havana, Cuba. In other words, they've accused the Havana government of using some kind of sonic weapon to attack the diplomatic staff, which apparently gave dizziness, blurred vision, headaches, nausea, and other ailments. Nothing concrete or substantial. Now, possible explanations for this have been everything from mosquito fumigation to noisy crickets inside the country. In other words, nothing of substance was ever found, and no definitive proof of these symptoms even existing have occurred. But a report from the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, commissioned by the State Department, that's very important there, commissioned by the State Department, suggests that the involvement of radio frequency energy is probably the likely culprit. After considering the information available to it and a set of possible mechanisms, the committee felt that many of the distinctive and acute signs, symptoms, and observations reported by the State Department employees are consistent with the effects of directed pulsed radio frequency energy. Now, while that certainly does sound very damning, they also went on to say this. However, the significant variability and clinical heterogeneity of the illness affected State Department personnel leave open the possibility of multiple causal factors, including psychological and social factors. In other words, it could be a weapon that Cuba used, or it could be literally nothing involved with Cuba whatsoever. So, to err on the side of caution, they're going to decide that it was something that Cuba did, because Cuba is evil, and we know Cuba is evil because they do these evil things. And we know they do these evil things because they're evil, the usual anti-socialist circular reasoning that's used. Now, when this originally began, this was used by the U.S. State Department to expel 2 Cuban diplomats from Washington in 2017, as was perceived as some kind of tit-for-tat response. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump did blame the incident on the Cubans, saying it's a very unusual attack, as you know, but I do believe Cuba is responsible. The fact that these diplomats were placed in there, or the return of diplomats, was done under the Obama administration, and Trump has showed a continued pattern of trying to undo anything and everything that the Obama administration did, well, it casts things in a very suspicious light. Now, it should also not go without saying, they suggested that Russia probably had a connection in this attack because, of course, we have to blame Russia even when there's literally zero evidence. Many of them have said that this is the kind of sonic weapons that Cuba has. Now, I'm not actually familiar with any sonic weapons that Russia has. I'm not familiar with any of the weapons that Russia has, but that could very well be true. We do know that the United States does have them as well. But, of course, we're going to blame Russia in this situation because that's part and parcel of the way things are being done right now. Now, this is what this report really boils down to is this is what could have caused it had it happened. Now, nobody has shown any evidence that these symptoms actually occurred, but taking their word for it, it could be anything from a sonic weapon to nothing. Now, previously I reported that a Berkeley University study had already concluded that it was crickets, and that the symptoms were largely psychosomatic, if they even existed at all. The recordings of these sonic attacks have been handed over to the University of Berkeley, and they have carried out an investigation, and what they determined was that the sonic attack was a Jamaican field cricket, a cricket that is common to the Cuban island. In other words, this is a very vague accusation which doesn't really seem to have any evidence to back it up whatsoever. There is such a great emphasis placed on how this could happen that not a lot of resources have gone into whether or not it did happen. This is, of course, the U.S. making an accusation against Cuba, which is already suspect given the amount of pathological lying that has occurred on the part of the United States towards not just Cuba itself, but many other anti-imperialist countries, particularly those who are socialists. So, in my opinion, it seems that this was largely made up, as even scientists can't seem to come to any conclusion about what actually caused this. And even when the State Department specifically pays an organization to give them the answer that they want, they still can't come to any scientific consensus on what the cause of this incident, which may or may not even happen, was able to cause.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.